First responders are using every tool to try to battle these California infernos, including airplanes, to try to water bomb the fires. And before he made his way to Congress, Montana Senator Tim Sheeny ran an aerial firefighting company and was in action as recently as August. He joins me now. Senator, we'll get to that meeting with Trump in a moment, but the high winds, the lack of water pressure on the ground, and the federal government saying they can surge assets, but they couldn't get the planes in the air, I guess because the fires are so bad and the winds are so bad? Tell us about that.
Well, what we're seeing here is a symbol of modern wildland fire dysfunction, Laura, and this has been going on for years, and people are sick and tired of it. From Lahaina and Maui to New Jersey as recently as November, to Texas earlier last year, and then, of course, now we're seeing in Malibu. This is the big one we've all been warning about for years, that we were going to have a massive wildland-urban interface fire, which is what this is, where you have wildfire interfacing with urban structures, causing massive damage, killing a lot of people. This is out of control. It's mismanagement from our federal agencies, from our state agencies, and we just left a meeting with President Trump where we discussed this very subject and that it's time for comprehensive wildfire reform in this country. We need to empower emergency management agencies to actually fight these fires. As you said, there's not enough airplanes ready to launch. There's not enough water in the fire hydrants. We need to be ready to protect our people. And when people ask about the America First agenda, this is front and center. America First. Let's make sure we can protect our communities. Yeah, and we also found out that they sent a bunch of so-called excess firefighting equipment to Ukraine. That's what they did in the LA Fire Department. I guess that was authorized by Congress to do that. Everyone feels all noble and they feel all altruistic about it. But in the end, they don't have the tools to fight this. They don't have the water to fight it. They got rid of 4 major dams. I think all 4 of them they're either gone or they're going to be gone. But that was a cause for great celebration by Gavin Newsom last year. Well, and those exact planes you showed on the screen, the yellow and red super scoopers.
Senator, hold on 1 second, because we have to go live to Capitol Hill.
In other words, we gave it to them
where
for
President
nothing.
Trump's
the most
speaking.
expensive structure ever built in the history of our country, relatively speaking. The most expensive, by far. We lost 38,000 people. They gave it to them for $1, and then they charge more for our ships. It's not going to happen. And China's running the Panama Canal. That's not going to happen either.
Mr. President, on California, Mr. President, during the pandemic, you often said that you didn't believe that you should bail out blue states that you believe were being mismanaged. Given your criticism of Governor Gavin Newsom, are you willing to work with him, and do you believe that federal aid should be provided to California for as long as it takes?
Well, it's very sad because I've been trying to get Gavin Newsom to allow water to come. You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish, which is in other areas, by the way, called a smelt. And for the sake of a smelt, they have no water. They had no water in the fire hydrants today in Los Angeles. It was a terrible thing. And we're going to get that done. It's going to finally be done. I got it done from the federal side, and he didn't want to sign it, but it's not going to happen again like that. There's no reason. Can you imagine? You have farmers that don't have any water in California. They have plenty of water. They don't have a drought. They send it out to the Pacific, and it's crazy. So what's happening in California is a true tragedy. I know those areas very well. I have many friends living in those houses. That is a true tragedy. Nobody ever thought. I mean, virtually Beverly Hills and areas around Beverly Hills are being decimated. The biggest homes, some of the most valuable homes in the world are just destroyed. I don't even know. You talk about a tax base. If those people leave, you're going to lose half your tax base of California. This is a true tragedy, and it's a mistake of the governor, and you could say the administration. They don't have any water. They didn't have water in the fire hydrants. They don't have water. And yet they have, the water comes from, where? Up north. And it comes down at levels, they give millions and millions of barrels of gallons of water that they have, and they send it out into the Pacific. For the Pacific, it's like a drop, it's nothing. But for California, it would take care of the whole state. So what's happened is a tragedy, and the governor has not done a good job. With that being said, I got along well with him when he was governor. We worked together very well, and we would work together. I guess it looks like we're going to be the one having to rebuild it. But what happened there, I don't think there's anything that I've ever seen quite like it. And the insurance companies are going to have a big problem, because you're talking about big, big dollars.
Mr. Sheeny, Guiding Fire Unleashed Change, what's your message for President Biden? He said
Oh, I have no, I thought it was ridiculous that he did that, but we have more important things to talk about. Liz Cheney was, she lost in the Republican Party, as you know, in her state, by the biggest margin in the history of a politician running for Congress. She lost by like 42 points. Nobody's ever lost like that. So I don't care about Liz Cheney. I care about these people.
President Trump, millions of actual deportations. What is day one going to look like for the Trump administration?
Number one, we're closing the border. It's going to be closed very strongly. It's going to be closed. And we're going to have to take people out that are criminals. We have people from jails from all over the world and from mental institutions. And as you know, they're going to have to be removed. And it's one of the reasons I won the election in a landslide. The people of this country don't want murderers walking down their farms or their streets or their cities. As you know, we had thousands of people that murdered other people that were in jail that were released into our country. Many of those people murdered more than one person, many of them, about 42% supposedly. We want them out of our country, and we're going to get a country back again, and we're going to be really governed by common sense. These are the principles of common sense. We're not going to be governed by stupid people. We're going to common sense. We're going to be respected all over the world again very soon.
Well, President Trump chiming in on not just the California wildfires, but Liz Cheney, the Medal of Freedom recipient, most recent with George Soros, and of course others over the last few days, a week or so. Tim Sheeny continues with us, of course, new senator from the great state of Montana, who has a little experience in fighting fires. Senator, tell us about that meeting with President Trump today. He is raring to go. I saw him on Saturday night. Had a chance to meet Georgia Maloney briefly. Tell us about what he said and what the future looks like.
It was a fantastic meeting, and like you said, we actually started off the meeting talking about these wildfires for several minutes. You know, those red and yellow planes you showed on the screen, I used to personally fly those. You know, our aircraft, we don't have enough planes, we don't have enough firefighters, and President Trump committed that he's going to make sure we put our communities first. We're not going to put the Eurasian shellfish first. We're not going to put, you know, wrong-headed environmental plans first. We're going to make sure we can protect our communities from wildfire from coast to coast. We discussed the Panama Canal. You know, that's been top of news lately, but like you said, it's a national security priority. We lost 38,000 lives, spent, you know, I don't know how many billions of dollars in today's money building an engineering feat that's literally changed the face of the globe. We have to be able to move our ships from the Atlantic to the Pacific. We need to have free commerce. China controls that canal. They've been taking advantage of it. They're violating the treaty obligations. It's about time we take it back, and we support them fully in that. It's a commercial and national security priority for us. And of course, we talked about the mandate we have coming out of this election, and the fact that the American people are not going to sit around and wait, and they're not going to listen for process excuses. They want results. So we need to pass these bills, one big beautiful bill, 5 bills, 10 bills, whatever it takes. We need to get to work to secure the border, bring inflation down, and bring common sense back to this government.
Now, we're still looking at pictures from the Pacific Palisades in California, and thinking about what Trump just said, Senator, this really is a national priority. I know states have their own forest management programs and plans and priorities, and I'm a states' rights person. But when the federal government is going to have to spend, can't even imagine
Billions.
how much money they're going to need to restore California. Something's got to be done about this water and forest management issue.
A national response time standard. In every city in this country, the NFPA sets a response time that in 5 minutes, a fire engine will be at your front door. If you pull the fire alarm or call 911, there is no standard that requires a response to a wildfire. It's time to change that. We need fire engine. We need to pay firefighters a living wage. We need water bombers and helicopters ready to launch year-round, all 50 states. That's not too much to ask for. Let's get it done.
Well, they also have to have water that's available, as President Trump said, and damming up rivers does allow for a water supply to be consistent. And the firefighters repeatedly said they needed that today.
Well, again, you're seeing the results. You know, all these little policies, death by 1,000 cuts, these environmental policies, Endangered Species Act, wrong-headed conservation policies, these policies add up and they have impacts.
All right, Senator, we got to roll. It's been a big breaking news hour. Thank you very much.